Now in Bangladesh, a Hindu woman was raped at a home in Muradnagar, Upazila of Kumila on Thursday night. The police have arrested the main accused in the rape along with 4 others involved in recording a video of the incident and circulating it on social media. The accused, Fazar Ali, forcibly entered the women's house late at night. The woman, whose husband is an expatriate, is a mother of 2 children. The students of Jagannath Hall of Dhaka University held a protest to demand justice for the victim. The incident comes less than a week after a Durga temple was demolished in Dhaka. Condemning the demolition, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs said that instead of providing security to the temple, the interim government led by Mohammed Yunus projected the episode as a case of illegal land use and allowed the destruction of the temple. The ministry added that it is the responsibility of the interim government of Bangladesh to protect Hindus, their properties and their religious institutions. And now to discuss more on this, I am joined by Ambassador S.R. Dayal. Good evening, sir. Now, when we talk about the growing atrocities against the Hindus and minorities in Bangladesh, and as per the official records in the month of February this year, more than 600 cases of harassment of Hindus were reported in Bangladesh, which is up from 200 in the year 2024. And now a case of vandalism and rape in less than a week has also unfolded. Ministry of External Affairs has time and again voiced its concern regarding the protection of minorities, but the current government is completely ignoring the fact. How do you see this unruly conduct of the Yunus government, considering its possible repercussions it may face?
Unfortunately, after the removal of Sheikh Hasina's Awami League government and advent of the interim government in Bangladesh, led by Mohammed Yunus, the elements which are very anti-Hindu, jihadi, extreme Islamic elements, they have become very emboldened. Many of them who were in prison for their past atrocities, past crimes, past genocide, they have been released by the present interim government. And Hindus are being persecuted very systematically there. And the local government, local police does not take any action against them. Hindus are being dispossessed of their land. I had an occasion to visit Bangladesh 3 years back. Even at that time, when even Sheikh Hasina was there was an element of fear. But at least some protection was there from the then government, because the police used to take action against the extremist elements, against the Islamic elements. I would like to point out that in Bangladesh, in 1971, let us forget about 51, 1971, there were about 20% Hindu population. And today it is 8.9%. So there is an element of anti-Hindu sentiment, unfortunately, in Bangladesh, which is being exacerbated by the present interim government, and it is their duty. It is their duty, whatever is the government of the day, to protect every Bangladeshi, including all the minorities. But unfortunately, we are not seeing that. And as you pointed out, the number of atrocities against Hindus have been rising, have been increasing, because the elements which are anti-Hindu and want to take away Hindus, whatever property is left. Ultimately, when some analysis was done, it was found that these extremist elements try to create conditions so that property holder Hindus leave. They feel very afraid and they leave the country and either run away to India or go to West and other countries. So Ministry of External Affairs statement is very correct. And it is ultimately totally the responsibility of the present government of Bangladesh to ensure that all the minorities, Hindus or Christians, they are fully protected, are fully safe. And if there is any atrocity against them, their properties, their women, then immediately, urgently and very quickly, the Bangladesh police and law enforcement agencies should take action.
When we talk about the responsibility of the government, it reminds me of the statement that was made in September, where Yunus said that cases against minorities and especially Hindus are exaggerated, quote unquote. That was the word that he used. But the recent rape case, followed by the vandalization of Durga temple, are just added incidents that are making the minorities really unsafe in Bangladesh. And you yourself, mentioned that how the cases have increased to tenfolds, I think 100-fold in the recent years. How do you see this development and the statement, the kind of statement that Yunus is making himself?
Some elements in Bangladesh are trying to create a fear psychosis so that Hindus remain very afraid and they leave Bangladesh. That is their long-term plan. As I said, from 20% in 1971, Hindu population is 8.9%. And if we compare with Muslim population of our West Bengal, our Bengal, when it was 20% in 1971, it is now 27%. So you can see the minorities are safe in India, so their numbers are increasing, whereas minorities are very unsafe in Bangladesh.
True.
So their numbers are declining, and it is totally the responsibility of the present regime to acknowledge that there is a problem and not say that it is exaggerated. That is denial of the problem. A problem can be solved only when its magnitude, its gravity, its seriousness is fully understood by the law enforcement agencies and by the government of the day. If the government of the day takes it lightly and say, no, they are exaggerated, that means that they are not willing to extend their protection, their protective hand of the state towards the minorities. So the statement should be that whatever is, and if there is any atrocity or any ill treatment of minorities, then the entire might of the state will come to protect the minorities and take action against the perpetrators of that crime and that atrocity.
Which is unfortunately not the case in Bangladesh, because we are seeing a different stand by the current Yunus government. And not only this, we've seen the concerns submitted by international bodies too regarding the ongoing situation. But shouldn't this be the time when any sort of sanction or stringent measures should come into force against Bangladesh?
I think that this question can be raised in Human Rights Commission and Human Rights. But ultimately, those things take a lot of time, and the remedial measures also take a lot of time. So pressure has to be put on the government of Bangladesh directly by the democratic states. There was some report from United States also that Hindus are not being treated properly and minorities are not being treated well in Bangladesh. So it is the responsibility of all right-thinking governments in the neighborhood, other countries, to put pressure on the government of Bangladesh so that they discharge their constitutional duties, their duties under the UN Charter, their duties under the Human Rights Convention, Universal Convention on Human Rights, that all minorities in the territory of Bangladesh are treated with respect, with equality, and they are fully protected by the organs of the state, by the police, by army, and by judiciary, and by the people themselves.
Considering that this is the interim government which is currently there in Bangladesh, and considering the scenarios, the unfolding, the aggressive scenarios against the minorities, and also economically, Bangladesh is not doing so well, and nor does diplomatically, how do you see the survival of the current government of Bangladesh right now?
Bangladesh is going through a turbulent political phase, and generally it is believed that elections should be held as soon as possible. Perhaps now in April they will be held, and so that there is a proper government in place. When there is a proper constitutionally elected democratic government in place in Dhaka, then it will be easier for the government of India also to deal with them and to have, in a spirit of give and take, in a spirit of friendship with the new government, whichever government is there, address these issues so that our concerns, the concerns of their minorities, they are their citizens, are addressed properly, and the issue is not brushed off that the numbers of atrocities are exaggerated. There should not be even one atrocity. The country should be governed in such a manner that there is no activity against minorities, that they feel safe, that their properties are safe, their women are safe. But somehow a psychology is being perpetrated, and being a fear psychosis is being spread in many parts of Bangladesh, which makes Hindus very insecure, unsafe, and their game plan is to make Hindus so unsafe that they leave Bangladesh. But they should not leave, and whichever is the government, I think a very stern message should go from the international community as well as the government of India, people of India, and that we will hold the present government of Bangladesh responsible for the full safety, security, and honor of the minorities in Bangladesh.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador Dayal, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on this very important issue.